we'll just continue to do that, and then we need to find a way in. So I always put sort of safety first, well, in most cases. So I like to look at the trading levels. I like to look at a nice large number to work off, to look for a long trade, because it's pretty much a game of support and resistance. So looking at a line like this through here at some particular large price point with a few zeros on it in one way or another, and looking for this type of pattern and finding our entry across the top and the second top is really what we're sort of looking for in the market. So this particular count here would look at this as wave 3 here with an expanded flat as an ABC pattern here, and wave 4. So that's it, and then we'll be going up for a wave 5 up into the medium level here, 6,500 give or take, and then we'll be looking at another wave 4 to come into play before going up. And wave 4s can be quite complicated, so that could be quite time consuming as well. So the bearish count is just really simply having a top in play here. So with that in mind, let me just move into where I keep the alternative count here, and that simply is having a top in play here. So if I just fill in the dots a little bit here as 1 and 2 here and 3, 4, 5. Now the reason I didn't particularly like this is because I'd need to sort of squish the 4 and 5 in, but sometimes tops just don't finish the way that you would like them to finish. So most of the other markets have finished quite nicely at the tops. When we have a look at Amazon and those sort of stocks. When was that? 30th of Feb, Jan. I was just thinking of the US dollar. So this move would be the bearish move here, and just in the bigger picture here, let me just sort of squish it up a little bit. It would be continuing to work to the downside here in this, just roughly speaking here, just some sort of ABC pattern here for this, and this, yeah, would just be like this here. So this would be the other side of the coin. It's just a secondary count, but I have to say it is in line with the US dollar here as well. This is Malik's count here and Shane's count here. I won't need to look at those. This is just my count. So basically, it's reasonably straightforward. It is possible that we could look at this as wave 1 here, with wave 2 finishing here and pushing up. But I see that Canada's, there's a bit of pressure on the US Treasuries, on the bond market at the moment. We see that the Canadians have sold about $28 billion worth of their US debt, and Japan's got the largest holding of US Treasuries, and they sold off some late last year or early this year as well. And there was another country doing it as well. I'd always thought that if Taiwan went, then all the confidence in the Pacific would sort of diminish, and all of those countries, South Korea, Japan, and all those would just dump their US debt at that point, because they weren't being looked after at that point. You know what I mean? And that would be the crash of the dollar. But it's interesting to see this tariff war being the catalyst for the treasuries being sold off. But anyway, my main point here was that was to see more of a bearish move down here for this. So this is also, just by the by here, is that this is 100 here, obviously, sorry, and this particular pattern that we're looking at here, to me, is just a classic trading levels pattern. It's the arrival up here and then the ABC correction, and the first high above the level, and then the ABC pattern here. So in a nutshell, it's just the normal pattern here. We've had the arrival, the reaction in three waves, the first high above the level, and we're about here at the moment. So that's where I kind of see the US dollar. Now this leg here could get a bit uglier, but I always try to keep things as simple as I can. But that's pretty much what we're sort of looking at here with this. So this can, may come all the way back down here. Don't know, we'll see. It could play out as some other sort of pattern in here as well. This B wave was really quite big. And this can be counted in different ways here. This is pretty much simple ABC pattern here, an ABC within the C wave here. So we could actually get an A and a B and a C coming down here as well. So it could get a bit more complicated, but either way, it needs to pull down, and that kind of brings us in line with the with the stock market as such as well. Coming down here. So. In that regard, that bearish count that I had. Okay, so we've looked at the bearish count. We've kind of lined it up with the US dollar. We can see that there's still pressure on the bond market because of the tariff situations. So on the bullish side, it's a bit of a long shot, trying to establish lows. But that's what we have to do. And even though there's two counts, all I ever do is just keep working the intraday count, and things become clear after a while, that's all. So we can have this as wave 1 up here and wave 2 here, and I'll just bring in this one here, which will be up for wave 1 here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here, and then pushing up. So this is obviously the cash market. So we don't really trade it, but buying new highs here would be the way forward on this. So we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, but please make no mistake, this particular pattern can also be a corrective rally as well. So we need to be a bit cautious about what we do on the low here. The first thing that we need to do is try to work out it landing, and then we try to work out the impulse wave up here, and we looked at it in different ways as being corrective and so on, because we even looked at this having wave 4 over here, if you remember, as an A and a B wave and a C wave up here, which is fine because it keeps us safe. And then we could see that wasn't the case the time we got over to this point over here, and now we can look at this, and so we can look at this whole move up here as being bullish, but we could also view it as being corrective. So this number here, the 5.8, that would be a sort of that's a bit of a safe. You can see the consolidation over here, and 8 is the third strongest number, so getting support there would be a catalyst to the upside. If I just quickly have a look at the SPY here, just to show you the other count here that can be done, can be played out as well on the 15-minute chart. Instead of having this wave 1 sitting over here, it can be over here with an A and a B and a C wave over here. So we could still get another little move down here. Now, just why we're here as well, on the E-minis here, we can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for 1. I can look at this as an ABC pattern here for this. So this is quite good at this point. We can see that it's snaking along here. We can see it's got a little impulse wave over here. So it's all looking pretty good at this point. But I've got this here. All we just need to be aware of is that we could get pushed up here, and then we move up here. It'll be something like this here. So being along above the B waves here, this, we look for Thursday to sort of shore up and Friday to be bullish. It's given us something here. We're further along the track now than we were last week. So I want to build some longs in. Just going to take a little bit of time. This is also the same for the NASDAQ as well. It can be counted. It could be counted as 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, but we need to be careful because this wave 2 might need to come over to this point over here. So just be a little bit mindful of that. It's worth having a look. I won't look at the NASDAQ because I've got the triple Q, because I've got a a bearish count on that, and I won't go there because I'm just burning up time here. But I just wanted to cover this nicely. So with the cash market, the NDX, and so on. The futures market here is trading above the cash market. So at 20,000 here, we decided that we would only go long once we could view this as support here. So once again, we're getting here from this low here. We can look at this as wave 1 up here. I could rearrange this here, but it's quite nice as an ABC pattern. But don't be surprised if we get a little move down here. So I'm just going to let Monday play out. Let's just see what we get. You could go long above this top here, because at that point, well, technically this top here, because at that point we start another sequence to the upside. And the idea with these here is to just build in on the long side here through group 1 here. So 100, 200 and 300. So that would be the first one on top of group 1. And then this one could be on top of 500 here. So there, well, we'll talk about that later. So basically it's looking really good, at this point. But we need to be, we just don't want to get caught out the last second on all of this. Okay, so we're going to head over to this watch list, and I'm going to look at Apple. If you want to have a look at all the other analysts, they'll be in all their counts will be in this little tab here, but they'll normally come up in here as well. So when we click on Apple here, you'll see Alessio's count here. I won't go into it at the moment, but they should populate here. So most of the analysts are migrating over to that at the moment. So on Friday we talked about going long here with Apple, but I'm just not really getting, I had a bit of thought about it, and just not, I can count from wave B up here down to wave C here. I can count the 5 waves as 1 and 2 here, and then 3, 4 and 5 here, and that's 5 waves here, and then this one here is 1 and 2 here, a nice 3rd wave, 4th wave, 5th wave, but it's just a little bit small here. So I'm just wondering, see how I've got this wave 4 here? I'm wondering if I need to put wave 4 over here for this. So I'm a little bit lost on this one. So this long trade here, which I didn't put in the portfolio, it should finish off here. This should be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and a little 1 and 2 here, and this is the 3rd wave that popped here. So there should be a 4. So you should get very close to the 220 here. So just get out of this, and then if we get a classic trading levels pattern on top of the 220, then I'll get us back in again. Okay, so we can, in this case, we can move the stop way up here anyway on this, and I think we could end up having. It's possible. I don't know if it's correct or not, but it's possible we can have one more low in play here. Everything seems to be, gaps are covered, which is a good sign. Yeah, so look, I'm a little bit unsure, so I'd rather just get out at break even here, or do whatever at that point, So I'm just going to, now that I've got that there, I'm just going to delete that, and I'm just going to leave that wave 4 here as an alternative. Yes, it could still go up here, but don't have a really good wave 1. This move here is in 3 waves, so we'll take out that top there. Kind of taken it out already, really, but I can see this structure's not finished here just yet. So I want to gather a little bit more information for Apple. So let's have a look at Amazon. Okay, so this is Amazon. We're looking down as the correction here. We're looking at the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave coming down, and looking at that in 5 waves. I'm pretty happy with this count. I mean, like I say, picking lows is a bit of a mug's game, so you just need a little bit more. You need to start gathering evidence once you think you've got a low in, and that's what we're doing here. Now, What I would like to do here, as I mentioned last week, is to look for a classic trading levels pattern on top of the 200. So really what we're looking for here is we want to see basically this push up. I'll just keep it really simple, but just to push up, and then that first high, which we'll improve on, but that will be our entry point over here once that's triggered in. But this will be an ABC, and we'll be able to get a better price on that. And yeah, I also want, this 200 here has obviously been the support here, and then the resistance over here, doing all this is a classic trading levels pattern coming to the downside here. But because we're finishing the count, and I like it when a market comes, when you're working with a large number like this here, I like it when it comes down below the level and then comes and finds support on top of the level here. It's yeah, it just gives us a lot more confidence in what's going on. So yeah, it's looking good. Of course, anything can happen. We don't have the trade setup that we're looking for. We don't have a safe trade setup at this point. So we just got to just leave this. Let's have a look at Nvidia. Okay, so we're looking at Nvidia here, and we've been coming down from this big trend here, and then we've had this nice impulse wave to the upside as wave 1. I was looking at this as an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 2, but I don't have the best looking 5-wave structure up here, so I need to label that wave B here. And yeah, look, it could be wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and if that's the case and it takes out this top here, we can be long at that point. So just above the 120 here. Don't go at 19, always go just above, and don't go at 1. Don't go on the whole number either, because there'll be larger orders there, and you want them to be taken out. So you want to be, you want to be above that there. So maybe, oh yeah, I've got it at 25, so that's cool. So the thing here is that, we may end up getting something like this before going up here. So we're getting there. I thought we may have it here, but we'll leave that entry there at that point. And yeah, let's just see how that goes. Got this bit of a gap here, not a big deal because it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. It's a third of the third in here, so it doesn't really need to be covered. We'll see the 13 here, the top of group 1, will be a really good support for that number there. Yeah, so anyway, we'll just keep chipping away at that, but it's looking good at this point. Let's have a look at Meta. And the same with Meta as well. We've been looking at wave B up here down to wave C here, counting 5 waves down. We've counted the 5 waves, so we've done everything the textbook said. Now we're looking for a move to the upside. We have to work out if the move to the upside is going to be bullish or corrective rally, all of these sorts of things. We need to put on our trader's hat at some point, and that will be on the 600 here once we've got support on top of that 600. And yeah, so be very careful about this one just here, because this from the top here to the bottom here, this 600 here, even though it's probably above the 50%, closer to probably wherever, but anyway, it's all about the 600. So this is where it can fail from. So you have to wait for the first high above the level, and I should leave that up there, but that first high above the level, wherever that's going to be, and normally it'll mirror something over yonder here, but once you've got that, then you can move in at that point. And if you just do a small bet here, then you can look to do another bet over here, just splitting the bet up, because it's really all about managing your risk and your initial exposure in all of this. But yeah, the risk is much higher at the lower end of the trend here. So, but we don't have, I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of evidence that we're going to push up. Yes, 5 waves is finished here. We've got a pretty ugly, impulse wave up here, and we could, bit sort of reluctant to to label it, but basically, it's you know, it's done everything that a wave one and wave two. Wave two's are sharp and a bit scary, so it's doing its thing. It's doing its building process here. So to get on the 600 here is really, you know, what we need next. So let's have a look at Netflix. So Netflix is building quite well here as well. So we've got this three-wave move down to the low here. We've got 5 waves here. We've got another 5 waves here, and then we had little 5 waves in here just to take out that top here. We could look at this in different ways here because that's really cleared the top there. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here and bring that, you know, this wave 1 down to this point here. We could put wave 2 here on this. We could also bring wave 2 down here as well for this. So we'll just see. So the trick here is if you would like to go long, you'll need that top to be taken out at that point. Just be mindful that we could push down here because the NASDAQ and the S&P can do that as well. So we'll just see how that goes. But taking that top out there will put you in the next sequence to the upside, which kind of looks okay at this point. We're sitting on the 950 here, so this is the midpoint, which is good. So this is where it collapsed from before, and now we're getting back on that support there. So we have really, you know, it's you know, this, the move up here, the move back down, the move back up here, it's been chipping away at the supply here, you know, for a while now, and it's, you know, it's maintaining support. So it should be good to go. I mean, if you're a very short-term trader, then up to the 1,000 is fine. If you're a bit of a longer-term trader, then make this position here smaller, and we'll look to add on top of the 100 here. We'll have a look at the pattern first here, but if this is correct, then I'll just put this in here. But if this is correct, we'll look at 3, 4, 5, an ABC pattern, and then going up again. So yeah, this is the resistance. So this will become the support later on over here. So just bear that in mind if you're going to go long at this point. Okay, so what's next? Alphabet. Once again, we're looking for a low down here. We've had 3 and 4 and 5 to make 3 here, and then a triangle pattern for wave 4 and down for wave 5. So we called the low in here, and then we're just looking for, you know, an impulse wave to the upside. So we've got that impulse wave. We've got some type of, you know, ABC correction here. So we should just continue to climb at this point. I don't think this needs to get any bigger and uglier here at this point. These are a little series of 1s and 2s, so we should push up. I think we're okay here, really. From this point, I mean, obviously getting through all this, you know, supply over here is going to, you know, take a bit, and it'll put a bit of pressure on whatever's being created over here as support. But we should see, you know, we should see it move up here. So what we tried to do here was just try to get a position, a smaller position under the 165, which is the lower end of group 2. So minor group 2 is 65, 72 and 80 here. So basically what it's trying to do is it's trying to find support back into minor group 2. So if it does that, then I'll also know that we're on our way to the upside. So yes, it could fail to find support on the 165 here. I know 165 is a little bit of an unusual number for most people, but it's incredibly important. I just call it a 65 number. So wherever you see 65, you'll see this sort of thing occur here. It could be 65 cents, $65, 6,500, $16.50. Just keep an eye on it. It's a bit of an unusual one, but it's quite handy once you get to know it a bit. But yeah, getting supported on the lower end of group 2 here, and then we'll look to build in further up here as well. But yeah, looking quite good now for for this market. And also we'll have a look at Microsoft now, which is also looking quite good. When I say quite good, I mean we're on tender hooks, kind of, you know, being at the low down here, trying to figure out some sort of, you know, bullish move with all of this. But it's nice to see that push up on the Friday, and we could put wave 2 over here. I can see that could be counted as 5 waves, so it could go over here. I'm not that sure, but this little move that's pushing up here, if we could just drill into that for a moment, it looks like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, but I'll just take it as 1 and 2 here, and then 3, 4 coming in across the old highs here would be fine. A final push up at which it exhausts itself, and then a move down here for wave 2, and then moving up here. We definitely want to be at, this long trade here is really just getting a small position before the 400, so we're going to be adding on both sides of the 400, and then we'll also be building once we get support on that 400, then we've got something to work on, so we can build up there. So you may or may not have been clicked into this. If you have, that's fine. If you haven't, then it might be good to wait for this little B wave over here for that. It doesn't really matter. It just depends if you've got the time, you know what I mean? Because you either set and forget and walk away, or or you're sort of like a junkie looking at the price, 24/7. So that's the day trader's life, isn't it? So yeah. So if you are clicked in here, we can bring this stop up to this point. That's fine. Yeah, so let's just see how this unfolds. It should sort of move along with Google as well. Okay, so that's that, and then we'll have a look at Tesla. Okay, with Tesla here, from this low down here, I don't think I've got it put in here, but we've got this as a nice A, B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for a C wave here. I suppose I could go wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and then have an ABC pattern. That could probably work as well. So it could be that we have a low in for this market, but at the same time, we know that the social situation around the world for this, for Elon, is not a pretty picture. So I'm going to look at this as still an A and a B and a C wave here, and another move to come down here for this. At the same time, from this moving up here, I want to count this as wave C and as 5 waves. Now, I understand that there is a bit of an issue here, because if I count that up as an A and a B and a C wave up here, that's in 3 waves. And then if I start counting this here in 3 waves, then this is in 3 waves here. So then that becomes, a W or an ABC pattern here. So the whole thing becomes a bit of a WXY. And if that's the case, then I'll need to look at this as that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'd have to look at this as the A, the B, and then the C wave up here. 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3. Anyway, I'll let it top. It doesn't matter. I can see that we need to acknowledge a few different counts in all of this. But this number here, the 250, this is what it's all about at this point, right? So we'll just let it sort of, poke its head up here, and I might let it sort of do it a few times just to see where it is, because this trend here needs to be corrected, basically. So I need to see something over here for that. So if it's going to be bullish, we'll just let it top, and then we'll bring it in over here and pick it up. And if it gets tagged in, well then great. If not, well then we'll be coming down at that point. There'll be a retest here, then coming down. But yeah, so we'll just let it leave it we'll just leave it play out, this top play out here for a while, and we'll see what's what. Okay, let's have a look at Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin today, I just wanted to look at it a little bit differently. I wanted to look at it more sort of bullish, and I understand as most Elliott people would be pretty much the same as well. They would have I mean, I've seen so many different patterns, so many different counts for this move coming down here, and it's a tricky count, and it can be counted in different ways. So basically, I've sort of just given up on it, you know. So there's two things that can really happen across the 1000 area here. So there will be a situation where we could have another low coming into play here. That's quite possible. We could even have a deeper low. We can push up here because this whole pattern reminds me of a classic trading levels pattern. So the arrival up here, the reaction here. So we can either come up here somewhere, normally this is normally from 1 here, then we go 1, 2, and 3. So the 130,000, I'll just take it to there as a reference point. So we could end up coming down as an A and a B and a C wave here, retesting this. And then pushing up from that point. We could also come down here a little bit further and to test these lows here. So there's a couple of different ways this could all play out here. In a bit of a nutshell, it's just the basic pattern here. So we've got this, we're looking for that, we're looking for a low here, then we're looking for this, and then we're looking for some sort of correction back. Now, this could be wave 1 and 2 here. That's what you'd find in sort of a parabolic sort of bull market, or if you're going, you know, late in the trend, then you would find this is 3, 4, and 5 here as a wave 3 here or something, and then wave 4 would come back and can check this low down here and then go off. But this is the normal thing here. When a market pushes up through a big number, it'll come back and check it. How far it comes back and checks it is the question, right? But this is where we are. We're in here somewhere, you know. That's sort of where we are. So basically, take that. You know, I think we should take it as an opportunity, really. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like, you know. Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, I've seen markets at, you know, at one before. It could be $1, $10, $100, $1,000, whatever. But, you know, so I've seen many stocks at, you know, at $10 and $100. And, you know, I know how this is doing exactly what it should do. That, you know, this is just human nature, what's happening here. And, yeah, it's just what it is. So this is really an opportunity here. You know, the worst thing that could probably happen when this pushes up here is that this could come back and test it a bit deeper here, you know. But I was thinking to myself, you know, that I would look at this as more of a bullish pattern to the upside. And the reason I was doing that is because of the supply and demand situation in this market. So if I just I'll just pop this into primary here. If I go to a month here, I just want to talk about this a little bit, if that's cool. So, you know, when Bitcoin came out after the 2008 dilemma with the housing and whatever, we've had this push up here. Now, as I've mentioned before, that the trends here were quite big, and then all the trends here are becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. So this is like a topping scenario where a market sort of tops, you know. And that was what I was sort of thinking about it. And then I thought to myself, you know, that the supply and demand of Bitcoin is becoming, you know, the supply side of it is really starting to dry up. You know, you've got, now that you know, I mean, El Salvador is, you know, as I think they've got 6,000 coins or something. I don't know, I can't remember. But, you know, these sovereign wealth funds are starting to pop out now. So Brazil the other day has started a sovereign wealth fund as well now. And, you know, there's most of the sovereign wealth funds that are around at the moment, the UK and the US, you know, they are only, at this stage, they're only sort of, well, you know, repossessed, stolen coins, whatever, you know, that they haven't really purchased themselves. But, you know, they're setting up, these countries are setting up their accounts and starting to buy Bitcoin. So, you know, this is a big deal. And also with the new banking situation regulations that Donald's put in place, these banks will be having custody. They'll have some sort of multi-sig custody for their normal banking clients, the retailers to have Bitcoin. So the supply side of this is really starting to dry up. There's just not enough coins for all of this. So I just thought that why not go back and have a look at it like I originally did a long time ago, and look at this as 1 and 2 to the upside, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. So if I take it off log scale, of course, we get this picture here. And we can see that there's a little 1 and 2 in here. There's probably another little 1 and 2 in here, but so this little pattern in here is very much the same as this one, and this one here is very much the same as this one here, and then we've got this strong move up here. So it's also I was also thinking that these have pulled back quite deeply here. So this here could also technically, looking at all of this, is pull back into the into this old top here and this consolidation, like this one here, pull back into this top and consolidation. That would be sort of quite normal at this. But what I was also thinking is that if this is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, then the pullbacks are going to get less and less and less. That's also on the cards as well here. So yeah, I mean, and all of these, by the way, this has got overlapping wave structures with this. This has got overlapping wave structures with this. This one hasn't got an overlapping wave structure with this so far. So, to count them as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, this is the sort of thing, if you've been a penny stock trader, this is a monthly chart, but even just on a daily chart, this is what you would see with penny stocks. Just these reoccurring sharp short shots, and then they would be going through 10 cents to 20 cents to 50 cents and those sort of things, but this is what it reminds me of, so I don't know how how complicated this is actually going to get here, the truth being, but this is this level here, this 60,000 here is definitely the worst possible case for this, I reckon, coming down here. But I don't even think we'll come down that far. If I've got the NASDAQ right, then we'll push up with that. But anyway, I just thought it was sort of interesting to see it like this here. And the other thing that I've done is I've just reorganized this here as well. So just let me just talk about that for a moment, because most the structures, which one don't I need? I don't need that. So this previous correction here, we've always counted this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, but I think there's a good case for this to have it as a triangle in here as well. And what that does, it changes the count up here a little bit. It changes it in that I can look at this as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2, and then the strong third wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. And this cacophony in here, this dog's breakfast in here, is typical of a wave 4. It can be counted in different ways, but then we do have another high here. So to have this as 5 waves up to here, and then look at this as an A wave here and a B wave here, and then a C wave down here, I can actually count it being finished here, by the way. Or we'll look at it and have one more move to the downside here on this. But I can put this here, and I can there's a count that I can put that there, and we're done here, and we're going up at this point. That's what I can see that, but I don't have enough evidence to prove that. The more that it finds support on the 85, the better. But look, if we pop up here with a decent move, then that we're on our way at that point, right? There is a little case here for a move down and then a move up here as well, but probably the worst case scenario is down here on this one. So that would be That would be that. And yeah, and the other thing I wanted to say about this too is that I mean, obviously this B wave has been taken off the top here, but when you have a look at total or total 3, or even, you know, some of these other markets, you know, MSTR, you know, you start to see that, you know, they had this top over here, they got this ABC pattern. I think MicroStrategy's finished here as well. We'll be looking for a long trade setup here in due course as well. Just clear that off. Didn't really give me the picture that I wanted. I'll just try this other one. What's it? This is BlackRock's. Just looking at these tops here. See, BlackRock's top here, this one here, is also lower than this one here for this. This would need to change to here now. That's all right. That can just drop here and here. And I could actually put this one here and here on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, this helps clear up the Bitcoin one as well, you know. Move down. That spike there, I'm not that keen on the spike, but some ABC pattern. So sitting on 50 here for this would be also a move forward here. I'll just have a look at total one here. I'm sorry to drag this on here, but I just just wanted to just sort of check this top here. So see, this top here is under this top here. So I don't think that I'm too far off the beaten track here, by the way, you know. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I just wanted to I just wanted to talk about something different, that's all, you know. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the week ahead.